I'm very curious, how can one person do all that, right? So I'm going to introduce you, Peter Rios. Dr. Peter Rios, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you, Shelby?
I'm
Hello.
doing good. Yeah, how's you located in Florida, right?
Uh, we live in Orlando, Florida, and we also currently live in the friendly island of St. Martin. That's where I'm currently at right now in the Caribbean.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah,
how's everything over there?
beautiful day, sun, nice and warm.
Oh, wow.
So no
Yeah.
complaints.
California has been a little odd these days with the weather. It's raining like every week. It's not
Yeah, of
normal. Yeah, so thank you for joining us.
course.
We would like to learn more about you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Like, how did you become all those stuff I just mentioned? Yes.
Yeah, it definitely. I always say that my journey and whatever level of success I've been able to achieve has not been linear. It's not just straight forward, without bumps, without ups and downs. And today, as you mentioned, as a leadership coach and speaker and also author, those things have been part of growing, of developing myself, of
Right.
what we're going to talk about a little bit today, of having a growth mindset, of
Mhm.
understanding that we have greatness within us and that every person can definitely become the best version of themselves. And so I, a later bloomer, in life for myself. My grandmother Lourdes raised me. My other two younger cousins in New York, and she really, always taught us to have faith and to believe in ourselves, even when others didn't believe. And we didn't grow up with much, if that makes sense. But what we had, at home, love, the support of her, wanting the best for us, always pushed us to become better. And so, just that journey
Right.
has taken me, to want to discover more, and so earlier on, I was in the Marine Corps. I was in the
Mm.
military. Like, it seems like a life ago,
Wow.
very long time
Um,
ago. But since then, again, it hasn't been linear. Uh,
right.
Not being somebody who was good in school, I didn't do well in school, and so
See?
you know,
Wow.
yeah, I flunked out of community college a couple times,
Wow.
trying,
Yeah,
and
I see.
yeah, but one thing that I always that my grandmother and others taught me was that if you need help, you got to get it.
That's right. So, is your family an immigrant as well? Like myself, my family is an immigrant.
Basically, my grandmother migrated from Puerto Rico when she was
Ah,
14 years old to New York. She didn't know the
wow.
language. She didn't know the
Yeah.
language. She, was alone. She had a very, rough upbringing because she had to stay with different family members, but she was resilient, and I think that's the key that we get from some of our parents or grandparents or those who's gone before us, that
Right.
they've paved the way for us to be able to do what we're doing today.
That's correct. So you say you didn't do too good in school and flunk.
Not at all.
How
Yeah.
did you get PhD if that's the
Yeah,
case?
exactly. And I actually have two PhDs. That's
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
And not to be like, oh, look at me. No, it's just once you start learning and once you, because, um,
Mhm.
I always think the more you learn, the more you can earn. And so as I started learning more and getting more educated, I did begin to make better money, have better opportunities for, let's say, job choices, right? Um,
Right.
Access, other things became accessible to me that were not accessible to me before. So I
Mhm.
was like, that's amazing. Like these doors that used to be closed, now that I have a master's or a doctoral degree, they're opening. Like, for example, working at a university, I became a professor and administrator. And so that's something that we can share with the audience today is that,
Right.
as we're thinking through growth mindset, as we're thinking through the difference between a fixed mindset and growth mindset, is
Yes.
that you don't have to stay in the place where you may find yourself right now. And I know some people are probably doing okay or good or well. So we don't want to discount that, but we can always do better. So that was the first thing was, somebody, God sent an angel to me. Her name was Dr. Laila Denoya. So when I was in high school, I think you enjoy this story. When I was in high school, this lady, was in my, I think it was my social studies class. And I'm like, who is this coming probably to sell some more dreams,
Yeah.
Because we always had, and we, in my school, low socioeconomic status, etc. So like somebody's coming to sell us dreams, but she had a compelling story. She also had, come from Venezuela to the U.S. and was now working with students. And she was the director of the Upward Bound program. And so basically that program would help first generation students, students of color, low socioeconomic status, kids, that were coming from underprivileged areas to get into college. And so before that, I never even visited, I never thought about a college and never had even stepped on campus, but she took us on a trip to Toronto, University of Toronto, because this was upstate New York, And so she gave us the exposure, and that's the point here, getting the exposure of, oh, wow, if I can get, maybe some education or I can learn something new, I can become something better. And she kind of helped me to understand that concept,
Yes, I have that moment as well. That's why this channel was created, to kind of awake people and see there's a lot more outside of our comfort zone. So you wrote a book called Maximize.
Yes.
Right? And I read a chapter about a goldfish. You want to talk about a little bit, because that's what most, I will say 95% of the people today, right?
Yeah.
They thought their world around them, that's it, right? They don't know. They don't even want to look further, or they're not comfortable looking far or outside of the box, right? So you want to share with the audience about the chapter, the book that you wrote?
Sure. So that story is interesting because as you read, there was, I'm just going to say there was a lady who wanted to bring some entertainment to her house. And so she bought a little goldfish and put it in a fishbowl in her living room. And after a few days, she thought, at first she was excited, but then she thought, man, this goldfish doesn't have that much room to swim. And it only looks like it's swimming 2 or 3 inches left and right. It's like stuck. She's like, I know this goldfish needs a bigger tank, because the goldfish's world is too small. So that lady invested and bought a fish tank that was the size of her living room wall. It was huge. And I joke around and say, she got organic food for the goldfish.